Which true freshman could see the most playing time this fall at the University of Georgia? Of course, we see true freshmen play really every year. There's always a few or a handful of guys who not only see playing time, but try to make an impact in their first year. And I think this incoming group in the 2022 class is no different. There are a number of guys who I think could see the field this fall and a few guys who I think could make a big impact. So let's jump right into it. The first guy I want to talk about is Mykel Williams, the #1 player in the 2022 class that they signed. There's a reason he was one of the top 10 prospects in the country. An elite pass rusher, 6'5", 265 pounds now. Sure doesn't look like it. He is lean, he's long, he's athletic, and he's a guy who can get to the quarterback in a number of different ways. He can use the bull rush. He's stronger than most opposing offensive linemen that he went against in high school down in Columbus. But he's got some different moves. He's a finesse guy as well. He can spin move you. He's can use his quickness, his quick hands to get off blocks. And he gets after the quarterback. He's got a great motor, great pursuit of the ball carrier. And he's a natural. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to live in the backfield. Gatorade Player of the Year, I think nominee. He might have won the award last year. But again, there's a reason he's a 5-star. There's a reason Georgia kept pushing for him after he had committed to USC. Best player in the state, in my opinion, and he was well, Travis Hunter was really, really good too. Travis Hunter is probably #1, but Mykel Williams is, he dominated, and he's a guy who I do think will see playing time. Nolan Smith and Robert Beal are the two edge rusher guys, but Mykel Williams is going to see some time on the field. He's way too talented, and they did everything they could to land him, and they did in the end. Big time player. I think he's going to be a multi-year starter, first round NFL draft pick when the time comes. I think we're going to see a good bit of him this year. Staying on defense, Dalton Everett is a cornerback, 5-star guy, had 8 interceptions as a sophomore, then went to IMG Academy and just continued to learn and develop. Flipped from Clemson to Georgia when Brent Venables went away to Oklahoma. But, Kirby Smart said the other day when speaking to the media, yes, we're looking for that opposite cornerback, opposite of Keely Ringo. Guys like Kamari Lassiter and Nyland Greene are fighting for that job. But he said, we're going to have to rely on more than 3 cornerbacks this year. The young guys are going to have to play because we need depth. We need guys who have experience and who can get on the field, get their feet wet. And Dalton Everett is a guy who came in, was here for the spring. I say here, I don't live in Athens, but he was in Athens with the team on the roster in the spring, learned a lot. He's got ball skills and he's got size. He's 6'1", 190 pounds. I don't think he can run like Eric Stokes can and Tyson Campbell, but he's a natural cover corner. He knows what he's doing. When the ball's in the air, he's going to get it. And I think he is going to give the staff a hard time of keeping him on the bench. He was a 5-star for a reason, one of the top cornerback prospects in the country. And I think when they start to bring more cornerbacks in, I think Dalton Everett is going to be one of the younger guys who gets that shot. Oscar Delp, tight end, who's had a fantastic offseason, was very good in the spring game, caught 2 touchdowns in last weekend scrimmage. Yes, the tight end room is loaded. I get it. He's not playing over Brock Bowers. Darnell Washington is getting better and better and better. Eric Gilbert is a guy who's going to have to see some passes thrown his way. He's too good to be on the bench long. So it is a loaded room, but at the end of the day, we are going to see Oscar hit the field. 6'5", 225, runs like a deer. He's excellent in the passing game, big, strong hands, and we've already seen snippets of what he can do. So he might be behind 3 guys at the time, but they're going to play a lot of tight ends. That is the best position group they have on the team, and especially in mop-up duty against teams like Vanderbilt and possibly, Missouri, teams like that. I know they have Samford and another Kent State, but, even against, some SEC opponents, I think we're going to see Oscar in there. So he's definitely one to keep an eye on. At running back, I think we're going to see more and more Branson Robinson. Everything we've heard from sources inside Athens say that the 2 running backs, he and Andrew Paul, are really, really good. They're really impressing. And they're physically built already. Branson is 5'10", 220. If he can stay healthy, he's a guy who I think is going to get some carries. We don't know if Kendall Milton is going to stay healthy the entire season. Probably not. Is Kenny McIntosh going to be healthy the entire season? Probably not. I expect both those guys to have some type of maybe a lingering issue or something that maybe keeps them out a game or two, but they're not going to be 100% all season. Dajon Edwards is a guy who can make plays when given an opportunity. They like what he brings to the table, but at Georgia, you rotate running backs. You keep them healthy. And if Branson Robinson is healthy, he's going to get some carries. A tackle breaking machine. He can get tough yards, runs well for his size. And I think he's going to get a lot of looks. But maybe the guy on offense who we see the most of is Dillon Bell, a 3-star wide receiver who is turning heads left and right. Terrence Edwards, former Georgia Bulldog, one of the best receivers in school history, now coaches at Milton. He tweeted the other day that, hey, I said A.D. Mitchell was going to be great, and he did have a great freshman year. I'm saying the same thing about Dillon Bell. And for the last few years, we've seen a freshman wide receiver stand out. In 2019, you had George Pickens and Don Blaylock make plays as a true freshman. 2020, it was Jermaine Burton. Last year, A.D. Mitchell. This year, I think it's going to be Dillon Bell. They have weapons on offense. We know about, of course, A.D. Mitchell, Ladd McConkey, Kyrus Jackson, Don Blaylock, Marcus Rosemy, Jack Saint. Obviously, Arian Smith is hurt, but it looks like he will come back at some point this year. He needs the ball when he's healthy. But Dillon Bell is a guy who runs like a running back. Looks like one, too. He is all muscle, and he's got size, and he knows how to run routes, and he's got big, strong hands, consistent hands, and he's a guy who can stretch the field as well. In the screen game, I think he can help there. But he's a guy who can break tackles after the catch, and I think he's going to make a lot of plays at Georgia, and I think he's probably the guy on offense that we see the most of all the true freshmen coming in. And just a really big pickup. He was a 3-star kid. A lot of big-time programs didn't offer him. Georgia always liked him and thought that his skill set would fit their offense, so he's going to get an opportunity to play. There's no doubt about that. So few guys on offense, few guys on defense, a couple more that I just want to talk about. Malachi Starks, again, 5-star for a reason, one of the top players in the state of Georgia, right there with Michael Williams. I think probably 2 and 3 in the state. 6'2", 205, runs really well for a guy 205. He's a guy who's going to kill the combine when the time comes in a few years. He can jump. He's athletic. He's got great ball skills. Could play a little bit on offense if they needed him to. He's just that gifted. But I think they're going to need more help at safety. DJ Daniel is a reserve who I think is starting to get better. Ja'Cory Thomas is another guy who's starting that we've heard about is coming on more and more. But Malachi Starks, I think, is going to be a multi-year starter. I said that when they signed him. I've seen him play multiple times. The guy is just a freak athlete, very gifted. He's got, again, the size and the length and the explosiveness to be a game-changing type of safety as soon as he gets it. Now, he made a couple busts in the scrimmage last weekend. If you're watching this on Saturday, there was a scrimmage today. We hope to have information coming on that scrimmage as soon as possible. But he's a guy who I think the staff wants to play because they know what he can bring to the table, and they know he's going to be a really good player sooner than later. So I do think we're going to see him at some point at safety. And then on offense, Ernest Greene, big offensive lineman, 6'4", 330 pounds that they signed out of California. He was a big deal, top 100 prospect in the country, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be tough to earn a lot of playing time on the offensive line because it is a very stacked group. But if there's one freshman offensive line who I think could see the field and, turn some heads a little bit, it's Ernest Greene. I do think he's going to have a very good Bulldog career. We'll see how much playing time he gets this year. Maybe it's with he starts to break, not the starting unit, but get into the 2s. I think he's with the 3s right now, but the more and more he plays, the better he's going to get. And he's going to climb that depth chart. There's no doubt about it. We'll see if he plays a good bit this year. But Michael Williams, probably the guy I think is going to play the most on defense. Dillon Bell, probably the guy I think is going to play the most on offense. I do think we're going to see Oscar Delp at tight end in some capacity. Branson Robinson is going to get his touches on offense. Maybe we see Ernest Greene play a little bit on offense as well. Defense, keep an eye on Dalton Everett. He's a guy who, again, he's flashed behind the scenes from what we've told. 5-star talent, great ball skills, and he's got size. So Kirby wants to play more cornerbacks. Dalton Everett is one to know. Jalen Walker, another guy, I think I didn't mention him earlier. I think I skipped him on accident, but he's a guy who is going to push those inside linebackers. There's no doubt about that. 6'2", 225, just a tackling machine. Smart kid. His father was a football coach. The Denmark high school coach, the guy who coached Jordan Davis at Mallard Creek before coming over to my neck of the woods at Denmark. He called me. He said, hey, I know you cover Georgia recruiting. I'm coaching Jalen Walker in the All-Star game. This was back in December, and he said this kid is the real deal. He's going to be a very, very good player for Georgia. Again, he's going to have to pass guys like Tresman Marshall, Jamon Davis-Johnson, Small London, Xavier Sori to get playing time. But if those guys don't continue to impress and improve, Jalen Walker is going to come up and push them. And I think we're going to see him in some mop-up duty. But I think he's a guy who could push for multi-year starter status. As a freshman, I think we'll see a little bit of him. But I don't think he's going to be, a starter anytime soon or anything like that. But he's definitely another defender to know about. So just a few group of guys who I think have the potential to play early on as a true freshman this year. Guys, thanks for watching this video. As always, stay tuned to the next one coming up right now. And I will see you over on Dog Post.